Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe. And if you've already subscribed, welcome to the family. Welcome to the JJPC Build community. Glad to have you here. And veteran subscribers, much love to y'all for watching the videos from beginning to end and helping support the channel. All right, a friend contacted me this morning, says to me, hey, how's it going? And I told my friend I got to go to the doctor this morning. And, he said to me, well, let me know what happens after that. I'll watch your video. Just go ahead and put it right there. I said, all right, and I will do so. And don't get me wrong, everybody. It's just something I go through everyday life. Well, you were wondering, and I'm going to tell you. Doctor told me that I had a brain injury because they did the brain scan. And they found brain injury, and I possibly had 2 strokes in the past. So that's just to give you an idea of what the doctor was talking about. He's also looking into other things. But that's pretty much where that discussion's left with, and the doctor says they're going to do more investigating on it and see what's going on. They're concerned about what's going on with my heart, and all I went through so far about it. So just to let you know, this is not a medical tutorial or anything. It's just letting a friend know what's going on with me. But that's not the video. The video today is, and the drum roll, please. And the video today is about the 7800 XT and the 7700 XT. I know I said I wasn't going to touch back on this, but I'm going to touch a little bit more on this because one of the subscribers got into and left me a note on the video, an email on the video, letting me know that, from what he said was, I understand what you're saying, but thank you. You missed the point why all those different cards are being compared to one or another. Okay, well, I'm touching base with you on this, and, I'm not going to call out any names or anything else. You know who you are that sent me the message, and I'm just summing it up a little bit more. I did leave a message back on that, but I'm going to sum it up a little bit more in this video. Okay. Now, it's not the matter of if I missed the point or not. And like I said this on many of my videos, everybody has their own way of testing things. Okay, some reviewers test price to performance. Mostly all of them do, but they never go and look in deeper about the performance of the item itself. Okay, and what I mean by that is, I'm going to clarify this. Okay, if you stack a whole lineup and you test a whole lineup of different cards, right, at the same level, and test them the same way at the same level, not every one of them are going to give you a proper response. You cannot tell me testing a 24 gigabyte VRAM card and pushing it to its max is going to be the same as testing an 8 gigabyte VRAM card, pushing it to the same max as you pushed it with the 24 gigabyte VRAM. Okay. Now these days, pushing a 24 gigabyte VRAM card to its max is kind of there a little bit. You're pushing it, and, it's not going to reach its total potential. Okay, everybody says, oh, yeah, we reached its total potential and everything else. No, you didn't. Okay, I've seen 24 gigabyte VRAM 4090s reach a higher potential than just pushing it to like it's a 16 gigabyte VRAM card. Okay, so you have to look at it. And see, this is the thing, and understand this. Okay, my philosophy, okay, this is my opinion, and my philosophy is that if you test every one of the 8 gigabyte VRAM cards on the market today in one category, right, and see which one's the best of the best, then you'll know in that class, no matter what number it's at, it's still an 8 gigabyte VRAM card. So you're testing every one of them to find out which one is going to take and go above and beyond the rest of them. Okay, this gives consumers an idea if they say, well, I want to get an 8 gigabyte VRAM card, but I don't know which one to choose. So now you're giving them a choice. Which one is the best of the best in that class? Okay, everybody says, oh, the 4070, the 4080, 4090. But, the thing is this. Everybody knows with the VRAM, the bus follows the VRAM. Everybody knows that. Okay, and if the bus doesn't follow the VRAM, then obviously that's a crappy card. Everybody knows that. So if I were to get a whole lineup of 8 gigabyte VRAM cards and test them in the same system and push them the same way in the same fashion, then there's no room to say that it ran out of VRAM. There's no room to say it at all. You tested all of them at that same complexity right to their max, and you can't say they ran out of VRAM. Okay, now the cards, you're taking an 8 gigabyte and a 16 gigabyte VRAM card. If you take and max out the 16 gigabyte VRAM and use the same tool to do the same for the 8 gigabyte VRAM, guess what's going to happen? Through almost 3/4 of the test, it's not going to be accurate because guess what? You've already maxed out the VRAM and you're choking and you're bottlenecking your 8 gigabyte card. So you can't do it with a 16 gigabyte card. Everybody says, oh, you mix them up and this and that. You can mix them up all you want. But it doesn't give you a true conclusion on the item itself. Rarely you'll see in test results from many other reviewers that they put like 1 or 2 8 gigabyte cards in there, but most of them are between 12 and 16 gigabyte VRAM cards. Okay, mixed up 12 and 16 gigabytes and a couple 8 gigabyte cards. I mean, my terminology of this is that if you take a selection of 8 gigabyte cards from different manufacturers, and they manufacture them, they all might come out with 8 gigabyte of VRAM, but everything else comes out a little bit different when it comes to them making their cards a different way. Okay, so you wonder to yourself, which card is the best when it comes to 8 gigabytes of VRAM? Which one is the best out of the whole class? And this is what the consumer's been asking me. Which one is the best? So, what you do is you take and you look for your 8 gigabyte of VRAM cards. Okay. And hold that thought. I'm going to show you this. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and go to the action screen. And I'll show you what I pulled up. Alright. Now we're on PC Part Picker. I pulled up all the class of the 8 gigabyte cards. I say that I'm coming up with a new idea And I know it's not like everybody. Look, I'm not counting out the fact of, and understand this, I am not counting out the fact of, mixing the cards. I just want to see in the VRAM class, which one of the 8 gigabyte cards are going to be the best of the best. Now, if you go through all the 8 gigabyte VRAM cards that are here, I mean, you can go down the list, and I'll tell you what, they had a big old list. I mean, they got a big old list. I mean, there's so many. There are so many of these cards. It's insane. This is only one page. This right here is only one page of the 8 gigabyte cards. Looks like they got, let me go all the way to the 13th. They got 13 pages. 13 pages of 8 gigabyte cards. Okay. Now, you think about it. They got so many cards. I know some of them are not available now, but but most of them are. Most of them, these are available. I mean, if you were to do a test on which one is the best of the best, I mean, you can go by and look by just the frequency alone, and gather up your information. I mean, they got the 6600. They got the core clock at 1626. They got the Asus Dual OC. They got it at 1410. You can go by the boost clock and, just make your determination right there. I mean, the Ventus 2 right here, they got it at 2505 megahertz. I mean, so, they got this one right here, the Speedster 210, 7600. It's at 2655. I mean, these are all your 8 gigabyte cards. I mean, they got the Gigabyte Gaming OC, the 7600, 2755. I mean, do your homework. It's not hard to pull up the classes. Okay. So this is just an idea I had, of separating the 8 gigabyte VRAM cards, the 12 gigabyte VRAM cards, the 16, the 20, the 24, putting them into their own classes. Okay. And then go by price to performance. Okay. And see which one is best for their price to performance in their class. That is basically where it comes to the idea of what are you going to get for, the price you're going to pay. So you go through all the cards and you look at all the specifications and pick yourself out eight of them, and either you buy them used or new. It would be preferably buy them new. And then you take and test them all on the same rig. And for price to performance, see which one's going to give the best for price to performance. Okay. And you can find out the price to performance on every one of these cards before you even purchase them. There's many reviews out there on every one of these cards. Many reviews. So you can take and get the best ones that you can find and put them head to head with each other to find out which one is the best of the best for the price to performance, as well as, the hardware itself. I think mixing them up and putting 8 gigabytes, 16 gigabytes, 12 gigabytes all together in one soup is not going to tell the consumer what's the best of the best. because we already know that the 8 gigabytes is going to be phased out sooner or later. So it's just going to go from 12 gigabytes and up, which it's kind of doing right now. Everybody's kind of weaning on minimal of 12 gigabytes or higher. So why are you going to put in, do a benchmark and put an 8 gigabyte card in there when it's going to no longer be valid for the customers that are going to be wanting to get something better? You know, especially when they want to play these newer games. You going to tell them to go ahead and get this 8 gigabyte card because it's doing better than the 12 gigabyte card? Or, you know, how can you prove that? What, benchmark the 8 gigabyte card versus the 12 gigabyte card to see which one's better? You do that when you benchmark a series of 8 gigabyte cards, pick the best of the best, and then put it head to head with a 12, you know, one of the best 12 gigabyte cards. See which one's going to be better. And then you put the 12 gigabyte card head to head with your 16 gigabyte cards, the best of the best. And then your 20 and 24 and so on. Okay. If you want a mixed bag. I think what the consumer wants is they want to know if they game, is that 8 gigabyte card going to be good enough to game with at least 70% of the games out there today? Can you use the 8 gigabyte card? And truthfully, yes, you can. With an 8 gigabyte card. You can do that with an 8 gigabyte card. Play most of your games out there today. Preferably, if you have a 12 gigabyte card, might give you a better advantage and give you more headroom. Say one game, it requires 8 gigabytes of VRAM, and then you max out that card, then you would have been better off with the 12 gigabyte card for the price to performance. Okay, but how would you know that which 12 gigabyte card would be better on the price if you don't see which one's the best out of its class? But if you want to mix them all up and everything else and get what out of that class? You get absolutely nothing out of that class. You get one 8 gigabyte card that's going to run better than a 12 gigabyte card. Okay, but that's in the short run. The long run is where you're going to be hitting it at. How long are you going to be able to have that card until you got to get something better? That's where the price comes in. So if you look at it at hardware to hardware and start there and see which is better on, hardware wise, then you can say, okay, now let me see what the price to performance is on that hardware. But here's the catch. That hardware, that graphics card, you can wind up having for 5 years. So, and it comes back to the point of me telling everybody like this. If you have a graphics card that you're keeping for 5 years, okay, so that comes back to the point where you got your calculator, okay, and you go and price your video cards. Like I said, I priced my video card, and in actuality, I only paid, with all the discounts and everything, about, from what I was told, it was about $438 with all the discounts and everything else. So now I'm dividing that by 5 years, because I plan on keeping this card for 5 years. So that means it's $87.60 a year for this card. Now, if you go to find a 12 gigabyte card on the market today, you going to pay $87.60 for a card for the short term. I'm giving you the long term. Now break it down to the short term. The $87.60 is the short term. So now you got a card that you're keeping for 5 years, no questions. You're just going to keep it and run it and have fun with it for the next 5 years, which I am. And this is how I priced it out. So in actuality, if I were to buy a graphics card every year, then I would have to find one that was at $87.60. And the only one that's close to that is an 8 and not 12 gigabyte VRAM. An 8 gigabyte VRAM is the RX 580. That's worth talking about. That's it. So what am I going to do? Buy an RX 580 every year for 5 years? Or am I going to have a better level of performance for the next 5 years with one card, and it only cost me per year $87.60? So if you took the $87.60 and you divided that by 365 days in a year, it cost you 0.2 cents, 0.24 cents per day. But that's on 7 days a week of usage. Every day for 7 days a week of usage. Since I create videos for YouTube, that's about how much it costs me per day to have this card in my system. Okay, that's how you look at it. It's how much it costs you to put it into your system, not the power, not how much the power draw is, because it's only, if I ever draw above 40 to 60 to 100 watts in a 2-hour time period, that's short term. But for the whole day, I would imagine I don't pull that much wattage per day. I'd imagine I only pull about maybe 120 watts per day. And that's only adding on an additional 3.2 cents. So that makes it 4 cents a day. A graphics card that cost me 4 cents a day for the next 5 years. So do your math. And when you're trying to price GPUs against each other, you know, which one's going to be, it doesn't tell you which one's going to be better or which one's going to be worse. That's just telling you which one's going to be at the lowest price point. And the one that usually is at the lowest price point is going to be the crappiest card of them all. So why are you going to spend the money on the crappiest card of them all when you could do your real diligence and look at, you know, how much it really costs per day for the next 5 years? And if you're wondering the reason why I say that, is for a simple fact of this. One, you get your store warranty. No matter where you buy your card from, I know they're always going to have a store warranty. And if they don't, then find some other place that does. They at least give you 2 to 3 years store warranty. And then you got 2 to 3 years factory warranty. So I know every part in my computer right now, I have 2-year warranty from the store. I have 3-year warranty from the factory. So I got 5 years on every component in my computer, a 5-year warranty. And the reason why is this is because if something happens to it and it's not my fault that it happened, guess what? I can take it out, contact the company, return it, and have them send me another one. Simple as that. So that way, you know, I'm not missing out on anything. So all my parts are covered. I don't have to worry about my system for 5 years. And to have a computer for 5 years, and you look at it like this too. And there's another way to look at it. Okay. Now let's go back to this action screen. Zero this out. Let's say I paid $1,000 for my system, right? I paid $1,000 for my system, which I did. So you divide that by the 5 years that you're going to have that system, cost you $200 a year. There ain't no decent computer out there in this world that costs $200 a year. There is no decent system out there that costs $200 a year. None. You have to build it from there. And by the time you get done building it, then you're looking at an extra additional, maybe $200 to $300 to $400 to add on top of what you just got. So you take a garbage system, you build it up, and then, you got half the performance you could expect compared to my system, to where you got all the performance that you need. There's a big difference in that. So you take the $200 a year and you divide that by 365 days in a year. That comes to 0.5 cents a day to have that computer sit on your table every day for 5 years. Not to say you can't add more or less to it, but if you run the same system and you play the games every day for the next 5 years, you get your money's worth. So, when it comes to everybody coming to me and telling me that, and saying, hey, I'm wrong about the way I'm thinking about this, I'm actually not. I'm actually right about what I'm thinking about. Because the consumer wants long term. The consumer, and don't forget your drink and snacks, by the way. A consumer wants long-term PC. Long-term PC gaming. Okay. The only thing that might change in your computer in that 5-year time period might be Windows programming. Might be an upgrade. And don't forget, the way Windows 11 works is you got to have if you got an Intel system, it's 8th gen and above. And also, too, it's best if you got an AMD system. AM4 Zen 3 series, 5000 series and up is better for Windows 11. Just to say, minimal and up, start there. So if you decide you want to go to Windows 11, I'm still on Windows 10 until 2025. And then I'll go up to Windows 11. After it's been seasoned a little bit. It hasn't been seasoned enough yet. I still see errors and people getting blue screens and all that stuff. That's the reason why I'm still with Windows 10. So when they get past all that nonsense and it becomes more stable, then I'll move up to Windows 11. Until then, I'm going to stay right here at Windows 10. So I run an AM4 system, 64 gigs of RAM. I run the Ryzen 7 5700X with NVIDIA RTX 4070 non-TI. And I run a Crucial P2 M.2 SSD. And also I run a regular hard drive, which is 14 terabyte hard drive as my backup. That's where I back everything up at. So I got 15 terabyte total in my system. 15 terabyte. That's going to last me a long time. I can add more if I want to. I can add another drive. I can add 3 more drives to this and max it out. To me, I feel that I'll max it out after 3 more drives. But I have room to upgrade my processor. I have room to upgrade my video card. I have room to upgrade my system memory. I have room to upgrade the M.2 drive. My computer is still got room for futuristic upgrades, even though it's AM4 platform. Doesn't stop right where I'm at. It keeps going upwards. So do keep that in mind. And on the market today, prices will start going down and down on these parts. And guess what? I'm going to scoop up on it because that's the best way to go right now. I'm not going to AM5 just yet. Not yet. There's still plenty of room for AM4. I feel in my books. So simple as that. But I just want to let you know, and this is going to be my final conclusion. It's a 30-minute video right now. Okay. I know there's going to be naysayers and everything else that are going to say, well, you know, he's wrong and this and that. You know, look. Okay. Comes down to the fact. The fact. Okay. I want y'all to understand this. The reason why I'm doing it this way, that I want to do it this way now, is because when they come out with those new gaming cards and everything else, it's going to totally change the way they're going to be doing those testings. And it's basically, they're going to have to do it in their own basic VRAM class. It's going to come down to it. I'm just getting ahead of the curve. Okay, I'm getting ahead of the curve. They can test the way they're testing now, but the testing is going to change. And, you know, when it comes to change, everybody doesn't like change. But when, you know, you got newer hardware coming out, you know, and, you know, newer software and everything else, you have to look at the change. Even AMD doesn't know if they're going to keep the same platform from AM5 to AM6. There's been a lot of discussion about it. A lot of discussion. So keep that in mind too. Intel, you know, probably doesn't even know if they're going to change their platform from, you know, going from Gen 14 to Gen 15. They already changed from 13 to 14 their platform. Now they don't even know if they're going to keep the same platform for the motherboards from 14 to 15. There's another little issue we can talk about in another video. You know, we haven't talked about Intel in a while. I know it's coming about, so we'll get something cooking there. And also, too, it was mentioned to me about the Pro W7000 series graphics cards. I'm still looking into it. I'll let you know what I find, and we can make a video about that too. So that's for another video. And conclusion, last of the conclusions. I've been asked to make a Discord channel for JJ's PC Builds. I am working on it. It's going to take me a little time. Do be patient. I'm going to make this video here and I'm going to send it out to y'all. But I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on a Discord channel. So that way I can get something cooking there. So I will work on it today, rest of today and tonight, and see if I can get it just the way I want it. So that way, when I tell y'all about it, y'all can, you know, if you want to sign up over there, we'll make it happen. You know, understand this too. I have no moderators. Okay. I'm doing this solely on my own. So you have to be patient with me. I do the videos, edit the videos on my own and everything else. And I do the best I can. I'm only one person with two hands. So, but we are now at the end of the video. And if you made it this far, I do thank you for making it this far. But if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, trying to meet the standard of YouTube, and we're trying to get 4,000 watch hours, which that means watching videos from beginning to end would meet the standard of YouTube if we reach 4,000 watch time hours. And if you've already subscribed, welcome to the channel, welcome to the family. And my veteran subscribers, much love to you. Again, I know you're watching all the videos from beginning to end, and you're helping support the channel. And all my viewers, if you watch the videos from beginning to end, it does support the channel. It helps us get our watch time up, you know. And then once we get monetized, then we can work to the next level. then I'm going to work to that next level. I can't tell you what that is just yet, but we got to get to being monetized, and we got to be full-fledged. You know, in order to be recognized on YouTube, and understand this, you have to be monetized in order for, to be really recognized. I've been told that by a couple people. They said the only way you're going to get recognition is if you're monetized and you got a large following. So that's what I'm working towards. And I know sometimes my videos might veer off here and there, but, now I found out the truth from my doctor. It's caused by, up here, So bear with me. We'll get through this together, and hopefully you understand. So until the next time, and I mean the next time in the next video, you know who it is, and we'll see you on the next video.